Welcome to part 3 of Vision and Dreams series, where we are looking at the prophetic journey of the young man called Daniel. This is part 3. We'll be doing 4 parts per day, and meaning in 12 days we would have done or finished the book of Daniel. So we are still in chapter 1, and we looked at chapter 1 up to 8 in part 1 and part 2. Part 3 will start with chapter 1, 9 and 10. We ended up where we encourage each other to say no to Satan, because he is the tempter, and the Bible is very clear. It says, resist the devil and he will flee. Daniel did that, and definitely he said no to Satan. The tempter had to flee from him. Daniel's remarkable clearness of mind and the strength of body were the result of his faithful obedience to right ways of eating and drinking. Those are the lessons that we need to learn from the life of Daniel. The right ways of eating and drinking. We too can enjoy the same blessings because we worship the same God. Daniel chapter 1, 9 and 10. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink, for why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall he make me endanger my head to the king. This eunuch was advising Daniel when Daniel said they don't want to take part in the diet that was provided unto them by the king, because it was believed the food, some of that food was given to the idols. Meaning, if Daniel and the other Hebrew boys participated in the eating of that food, it definitely would have meant they are worshiping those idols. Not only that, Daniel and his friends, like we said in part 2, they came from a family that had strict teachings on diet and spirituality. So Daniel was brought up by his mother, who knew the God of Israel. And the diet that they were encouraged was that diet of grain, fruits, and that which comes from the trees, the plants. So here we see that there were others of the children of Judah in the same company. It was not only Daniel and those other 3 boys, but there were others who came from the company of Judah, meaning they all from the family of Israel. These ones did not obey the principles of temperance and righteousness. 2 things, temperance and righteousness. These 2 things go together. Temperance, withholding. Do not get excited because something has been accepted by the majority. You must think before you participate, is this going to bring righteousness in me? Is this going to take me closer to God, or otherwise? So these other guys, when they just saw that there was a buffet, they participated. But listen to what Daniel and his friends said. Because these 2, they did not obey the principles of temperance and righteousness which were taught to the people of God. They may have even ridiculed and persecuted Daniel. Even us, believers, when we shun certain ceremonies, when we refuse to participate in certain activities or eat the kind of food that has been brought about, maybe which has been served for the majority, we say, no, this we can't take. We are ridiculed, at times called names and laughed at. But that comes from principle. A believer who stands for God, who stands for righteousness, who stands for holiness, knows what to eat, what to drink, and what to say, where and when. These people were ridiculing or laughing at Daniel, not because they were doing the right thing, because of their desire to participate or to be appreciated by the eunuchs. But Daniel maintained his desire to be faithful to God, even in a foreign land. There are some people who behave when they're at home. Immediately they move out of home or the native town where they stay. They go out in another town. They find themselves at a lodge. Maybe that's a place where they're lodging. Even their minds change. They start looking for other women. When they have left a wife at home, they start looking for other men when they have left a husband at home. They change. They don't remain faithful. Like Daniel remained faithful to his God even in Babylon, in captivity. Some of us, immediately we change space. We change places. Even our minds change. We continue with chapter 10. Then said Daniel, verse 10. Daniel 1, verse 10. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants. I beseech thee 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest deal with thy servants, so he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairy, fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus the Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and give them palsy. Believers, fellow believers, have you got something from this Daniel's behavior, Daniel's persistence, Daniel's faithfulness? We can also be faithful. Like I said, there are times when we change. Just because new things have been brought to us. There's a buffet. We have gone to a place where we have never been. We have gone to a hotel. We have been invited to higher places where there are high-class people. We want to eat and drink what we have never drunk before. We drink wine. We eat anything that is available because we don't know when next we are going to eat. But Daniel and his colleagues were faithful. Daniel and his colleagues were separate. They were not like everyone else. Let us continue in part 4 as we wind up Daniel chapter 1. Shalom.